Is it just me, or does it seem like we made the jump all the way from winter directly into summer this season? I know that the temperatures that we experienced last week were definitely abnormal for what we normally see. And when we look at climate data, the chances of us going from a record cold April to an above average May were pretty slim chances, but yet that's exactly what we've experienced here in the last 5 or 6 weeks. For most of us, we've now got a crop that's coming up out of the ground. We've got some roots started, and we've gone through a period now of really high temperatures last week and the chance to have some more high temperatures at the end of this week, and it's bringing on some stress that we need to talk about today. I'm Keith Byerly, Precision Ag Manager at Central Valley Ag, and this is your agronomy focus video that corresponds with my article on the CVA website. When we look at our soil temperatures that we've seen this last week and the plants that we have out here, some of the things that we need to consider is that these plants just don't have a really great root structure underneath them yet. When we look at the soil moisture probes that are already installed, one of the data layers that we get from those soil moisture probes is soil temperature. When we look at heavier soils like I'm on today, where we have a lot of clay, the temperatures that we saw last Saturday were in the 90s for 4-inch soil temperature. On our sandy soils, where we get more reflection of the heat from those lighter colors, the temperatures were in the upper 80s and almost 90 degrees. That means that our plants are getting subject not just to extremes in air temperature, but extremes in soil temperature right now because of the lack of canopy. It definitely leads to some challenges, but we need to make sure that we don't overreact right now. We need to be at V5 to V6 to really start to see some of the critical growth stages going on with our corn. That's when some of the ear size potential and things like that really are established, is at that growth stage. We're still well ahead of that for most of us as we look across the area. Certainly the warm temperatures were an opportunity to catch up on growing degree days, but just how much potential and stress do we have out here for this corn? Well, when we look at the root structure that we have on this corn, we'll see that most of the root structure that we have could easily fit into a coffee cup right now. The idea of going out here and irrigating this crop because of drought and dry soils right now isn't quite there. We need to make sure that soils are drying out before we irrigate them. The idea that we can irrigate to cool the soil or to cool these plants also doesn't have a lot of merit. There's plenty of data out there that shows that the evaporative cooling effect just doesn't do that much for a crop canopy, no matter what the size is. Wetting the soil certainly will help deflect some of that radiation of the heat and absorb more of that heat, but it's again not going to be a long-term solution. Irrigating the crop at this point for most of us is about making ourselves feel better, or it's about doing something for our nitrogen or our herbicides that we have out here. So my take home for today is simply this. We're not at a point yet where technology can really step in and help us make decisions about the plants that we have out here. Those soil moisture probes that we install out in the field have their first sensor at 4 inches. When you look at a plant that's got a root system like this, there's very little root around that 4-inch sensor to show us what the depletion is. We have to still rely on some good old-fashioned agronomy, using our spades and doing some digging to figure out what soil moisture is out there. I certainly understand that there are some of you in the drier areas or on the lighter soils where we are seeing some moisture stress on these small plants, but don't overjump. Don't go too far. We're operating with 4 to 6 inches of soil roots right now. That means we've got 1/3 to 1/2 of a soil moisture profile that's getting depleted. Adjust your irrigation rates accordingly. If you normally put on 60 or 80 hundredths, cut that number back in half and only apply 30 or 40 hundredths, because we just don't need it. And every bit that we over irrigate right now is an opportunity to push nitrogen and other nutrients down through the soil. Make smart decisions, consult your agronomist and your trusted advisor, and really dig and look and understand these plants before you make a decision on irrigation right now.